Hey guys, before we go any further, just a quick disclaimer. I am not a therapist in any way, shape, or form. I'm just here giving you ways in which I dealt with my mental health. Without further ado, let's jump right into this week's episode. The episode's here. Unfortunately, there's no video, but hopefully you stick around to listen to Veronika's story from her depression to taking magic mushrooms on Saturday Night Live. Great little segment. And kind of getting involved with a married man. It's a great episode, really funny in places, and such a heartwarming story to go from depressed to now running her own business. Check it out. Please do stay to listen. Appreciate that. Hey guys, today on the show on Still Worth the Journey, we have the wonderful Veronika, and she's joining me all the way. Is it Czech Republic you're joining me from? It is Czech Republic, yeah. Sorry, I kept thinking, was it Czechoslovakia or was it Czech Republic? So I was trying to work that out. So, hey, welcome to the show. Really do appreciate you coming on and joining me on Still Worth the Journey. So, Veronika, what's your story? What is it that you went through?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you first and foremost for doing this podcast because when I went through depression and anxiety, I wish there were some resources like this. Like today, you can find so many resources there and people talking about their experience. But back then, when I was little, then nothing like that was there. So thank you for doing this. It's very important. And I hope that our listeners, your listeners, will get value from my story today. Um, and yeah, so what I went through, my parents divorced when I was 3, and I remember everything. Like sometimes people think that when you are 3 that you just forget, but I remember all the suffering. There was a lot of arguments and a lot of crying, a lot of shouting, and then my mom took us. We moved to our stepfather. Um, so we started living in different city. I saw my father 2 times a month, and I didn't know much what was happening to me. I started going to school as every other child, and when I was in my teenage years, I noticed like things got really heavy. I started waking up, and I was sad all the time. It felt like there was huge burden on my shoulders, and I felt heaviness in my chest and in my head, and it felt like some kind of emotional flu, but
Mm.
it took several months, and I didn't know that it was something not normal. I thought that it was just me being me, like the broken person. And I already felt different from other people in my school, because I was moving there from different city, and not many parents were divorced back
Mm.
then. I was born in 1990, and my depression started, I think, in 2003 when I was 13. Um, and yeah, so this is how it actually happened. And it was after I had my first boyfriend. He was 10 years older than me. And there was a little bit of abuse, like emotional and sexual abuse. And then he left me. After that, it went. It was really dark, like really dark years for me. And it eventually, it was culminating throughout teenage years. And when I was 19, and I needed to decide where I want to go with my life, I didn't get to any university. Like I failed all the tests, and then I had to spend a year on special school, English school for people who didn't get to any university. So in this year, I experienced suicidal thoughts and suicidal depression, and that was the year where I decided that I am going to do whatever it takes to get out of it. And I did. So it took me several more years. I don't know how much detail I can share here, but after more years of working on myself and my mind and my story and my emotions, I eventually got over it. And today I don't have any signs of depression, which is very, very, very good. I'm really, really grateful.
Oh, wow. Thank you for being so open as well and bringing the story here as well. It's quite a deep one, and it's quite close to me, that one. My mum and dad also divorced when I was 6.
Mhm.
So I can sort of feel where you're coming from with that, especially with the pain and the shouting, the screaming, and the arguments, the fighting, the abuse that you see as well as a child. Yeah, a lot of people do say, "How can you remember that far back?" But you do. When you're inflicted with that much trauma, it sticks in your head and it replays over and over and over like a movie strip, so to speak. So, wow,
Yeah,
wow,
and or something, and you are so then you start asking questions, and it can really take many therapies or many people talking to you from different angles to explain to you what is actually going on with your own mind.
yeah,
Because for you, when you are in that state, it can feel like you are just in a dark place and you cannot take anybody else with you. You cannot really explain what is going on. So for everybody who is listening, I just want to cheer you on that. I really understand that it can be hard to explain what you actually feel, but it's never too late to start asking for help.
exactly. Yeah, have you ever spoke to your mum and dad about all this since you've grown up and you're starting to find yourself and the reasons why you were feeling that way? Have you ever like sat your mum and dad down and spoke?
Yeah, there was another thing that my older sister was diagnosed as bipolar when and she was sent to the hospital when she was in her 20s.
Mm,
So my parents had to talk together and they had to talk about what was going wrong and what was going on in our family line. So I also mentioned that I had my moods, when I was sad. But back then I was too afraid to mention that I actually feel suicidal thoughts because I was afraid that I would be sent to hospital as well.
yeah,
So I said it to my I said talked no said all about it to my mom 10 years after I was completely healed, because it finally felt safe to say so. And she was, of course, she was stressed about it, and she apologized, and I didn't want to make her feel bad, because there was no reason to it. It was already
yeah,
like 30 years old story. And but I asked many times, like, what exactly happened back then, because I could still feel all the anxiety which was happening back then. I could still feel it in my body when I was 30. So I asked my mom if she felt something like this when I was little, and she admitted actually that yes, that she went through all the feelings I had when I was breaking up with my partner in my 30s. So um, children can be really sensitive, really empathetic, really taking on all of that as a sponge. As you said, you felt like it was maybe your fault that
yeah,
parents are arguing, and this is such a normal reaction that you switch to the mode like, what can I do? I am 6, what can I do? So they
yeah,
stop arguing and they like each other and I have safe environment. But it unfortunately doesn't work like this. So it's very normal that you blame yourself, but it's also very important to break this pattern once you are grow up and you understand what was going on.
yeah. Also, I've like me and my partner at the moment, we argue over loads of little things, and we've got children, and sometimes we sit there, and I sit there, and I think, should we be arguing around the kids? But I think it's because I've grew up in that environment as well. Some of that does still attach itself. So, in your relationships, have you ever been quite argumentative with a partner?
Yeah, I was extremely afraid of getting into argument. So I was afraid of serious relationship. Then I was afraid of living together. And once we started living together, there were a lot of layers I had to work through. There were many occasions when I would be coming back from vacation to our home, and I
Yeah,
would get such a huge anxiety attack of getting back to relationship, and nothing bad was happening. Like, my partner was super nice, super open, he understood, he was very supportive, and yet still my body was still expecting something bad to happen. And those layers can be really, really deep. as you mentioned, you are working on it, and you are thinking consciously, what can we
Yeah.
do different? How can we fight in a safe way? How can we communicate in a safe way? Um,
Yeah.
so sometimes it feels like you are parenting not just your kids, but also your own nervous system, that everything is going to be
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
We can fight, but we
Honestly,
aren't going to die.
I literally walk through life just questioning my own being most of the time, just thinking, I'm trying everything that I can. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm trying to be the best person that I can. And yet every single step I take, there's like a stumbling block there that's knocking me back 3 spaces. It's like, no, you're not allowed to keep going.
Yeah,
Keep knocking you down, keep knocking you down, keep knocking you down. And as positive as you can be, it's almost as if like you start telling yourself, am I really destined to carry on with this? What's going on here? Was I dealt a bad hand at birth? Like, what have I done in the... I've been good. I've not caused any trouble. I've not hurt anybody in that way. I've not stole or got in trouble with the police. And it's like, I see people out there all the time, like just through driving, they're so insensitive to other people around them. And it's like, how are you getting through life like that? How do you sleep through? How do you sleep? You're that entitled to yourself, and that just bugs me because I'm like, you know,
yeah,
is there a God or not? Because these people here clearly they're breaking the rules of of what life's supposed to be in civilized situations. So
yeah,
that's my triggers. That gets me off, and I get quite angry if someone cuts me up. I lose it. I totally lose it. Like, what are you doing? If they've got no lights on the back of the car, you've clearly not done your checks. Why ain't you got lights on your car? It's night time.
yeah.
It's silly things like that. But I always think, is it to do with the childhood back then with my dad and stuff? And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because you've gone through a similar thing. So I wanted to, is there anything in your life where you get triggers due to perhaps from when you were younger?
Yeah, and before I get into it, I want to acknowledge that you managed to create your own family, and you became a dad, and you are, asking yourself every day, how can I be a great dad? And this is amazing. This is such amazing and inspiring for everybody who is struggling to even get their first serious relationship. And for me, it took like 15 years to shred all the layers to actually be able to live with somebody.
Yeah,
So and to imagine that I will be married one day, or I will have my own kids. Yes, now I can imagine it, but it took me so many years to get to the place of self confidence and trust in relationships at their core, that it can be the place where I can feel like home and having family. But for
yeah, that's
example, five
brilliant.
years ago, I couldn't imagine even living with somebody. So praise to you. Very,
Well, I was
very.
going to say, mate, honestly, amazing strength and resilience that you've shown there. Really, you've got through all of that, and now you've got to a place where you're confident again within yourself, and you're loving yourself again. You can see your worth in the world. So that's amazing, and to see you smile as well. That obviously shows. I imagine it's been a long time since you've seen yourself smile like that as well. So you've definitely worked through the onion layers, so to speak.
Yeah. And I think like my biggest trigger always was love. Of course, I had, like authorities in my school, and I was afraid of exams and getting my driver's license and so on. But
Yeah,
those were like regular fears, and I could get through it. Sometimes I think the hardest part was this existential fear when I didn't get to any university, and it was back then in 2009 when there was a huge financial crisis, and I couldn't even get a job for a few months, and I just felt completely lost, and like I failed everybody, and I felt like a huge disappointment. Um, and it was, I think, the worst 4 months of my life before I got my first part-time job, and then I eventually got to the university for the second time. Um, and I had the whole year to prepare, so I made sure I will manage the second time. But the existential fear, I didn't know what was going on, but it was this huge inner monster which was eating each of my thoughts. Like I would be waking up and I would feel completely helpless, and like I am in such a dark place which I cannot show to anybody, because it felt like everywhere I looked, it felt like just desperate feeling everywhere. I could see it in people I met on the street, in people I met on bus. I would be listening to my relatives how they keep on living with their lives, because I wanted to feel like at least somebody lives, at least somebody keeps on living. But and I tried to relate to it, but I couldn't, because this fear was eating my whole feeling system. um, and it was the moment when I really decided to do something about it, because I saw my sister and I was like, maybe this is something similar what was happening to her, and I don't want to go to hospital. I want to be healthy. I want to manage it by myself. So I went through a lot of therapies, and one of them was special healing modality. It wasn't like official therapy, but the therapist took me to my childhood, to the divorce of my parents, and to this existential dread I felt back then when uh, I saw our father leaving and my mom taking us to a different place, different home, and different city. And I could feel that this was the root cause of my existential anxiety, and not especially the divorce, but my feelings, my beliefs about it. As a 3 or 4 years old, you didn't don't get much sense what is actually going on, but you can tell yourself, okay, I failed, I am not safe, I don't know what is going on, maybe they will just abandon me completely, maybe they don't love me anymore. And all those unprocessed emotions get stuck in your body like recording. And if you don't clear this recording up, this can be the root cause of like many many decades of suffering. If you don't go back and you don't clear it, you don't heal it, you don't hug your inner child, it can still be there. And it doesn't have to be anything that big as divorce, but it can be some of your little beliefs, feelings of abandonment or something, which can cause this when you are adult. So I really encourage everybody, if you feel like this, to really consider some therapy which is um, taking you back to your childhood and enabling you to forgive and to go through your past and release all those stuck emotions, because it's really, really helpful.
No, it is. I preach that quite a lot. If you've got to face your demons, you've got to go back and face your demons. We know it's hard, but it's the
Yeah.
only way to create sense. I mean, at 3 years old, your whole world's come down. You know, you're this little baby, like toddler. You think you've got mum and dad, you've got a happy little family, then it just gets broken and taken away at that age. You don't know what's going on. I mean, fortunate for me, I was 6 when it happened to me. I knew exactly what was going on because I could see the type of person my dad was, and we wasn't safe. We had to go. So my mum finally got us into a woman's refuge,
Mhm.
just women and kids basically, and it took us away, got us out of that dangerous environment. Um, but at 3 years old, that's totally different. You know, it's totally, yeah. To leave, I can't even speak on your behalf because I was living it at 3, 4, 5, and then we left at 6. But for it to break up at 3, when you're brand new to the family, you're this new thing. That
Yeah.
must be hard, especially with the daddy. Just normally you get daddy's girls. Like I've got 2 daughters, and I always say, "Daddy's girls, come here," and I try and show them as much love as I can. Um, yeah, it's. What was the reason for this? Do you know what the reason was? Did you ever ask mum and dad what was the cause of this divorce? Was it
Um,
anything cynical, or was it just
um,
like amicable? And we don't get on anymore. Let's just be friends, kind of
um,
thing. You don't have to answer, by the way. It's if it's personal, you can keep that to yourself.
No, I think it's very interesting story. My parents were together for maybe 7 or 8 years, and they married very young. My mom was 21, and my father was 24, maybe. It was because my mom was pregnant with my sister. It was also 1986 and 1984. Yes, 1984, and it was era of communism in my country. um, the only way how young people could get a mortgage and start their own living was to get married and have family. Then we had Velvet Revolution in 1990, and then I was born. So many couples emerged from this era where we couldn't travel. We didn't have any Western influence back then. Religion was prohibited, and everything. And the revolution happened only like a few months before I was born. So I think my parents, if they were together now, they wouldn't be together for more than a month. But back then, they didn't have many options than just to be together and start their family. Um, so they tried. But my dad, he is musician and scientist, and he has this big brain. He always had a lot of lovers. And my mom is a psychologist, and she grew up in a really really abusive environment. So my dad was her first really big serious relationship, and they tried, but they, they really weren't a good match. They
Yeah.
were on completely opposite sides of spectrum of a good match. So if I would see it now, it would just feel really funny. But when I saw it with my 3 years old eyes, I think the worst part was it that they didn't really think of telling me that it wasn't my fault, that I also matter in all that. They were so focused on arguing and fighting and suffering and so on that nobody, as as you do now today when you have divorce, you tell kids, okay guys, we love you, it's not about you, we are still your parents, you are still our kids, and this will be the order now, and you try to make it as safe as possible. But back then it was like, you are whore, you are a terrible person, and I'm taking the kids and fuck you and so on. um, and I think when you are maybe 5, 6, or 12, and I talk to people regularly who have different also experiences and different ages of their parents' divorce. When you have your sense of identity already somehow created, it's the good thing is that you have at least something to lean on a little bit, some idea of who I am in this.
Yeah.
But when it happens to you when you are 3 and you are just building the identity, and your identity is based on like the most important background is falling apart, then it's really hard to trust in yourself in a way that you are the person who has a right to have stable relationships, or that the relationships are a safe place, or that the family is a safe place you can call home. So for me, I really had to uh, m- create new recordings of my nervous system. I literally had to consciously recreate my reactions to relationships, because I had such a strong anxiety of being in a relationship that I would just be afraid that everybody will die. If I'm in a relationship, I will die, and my partner will die, everybody will die. And it was
Bless
like,
you.
but we did it. I did it, and we broke up, and I'm alive, and he's alive too, which is good news.
Oh, so you're
And
not
he
with him anymore? Are
sorry.
you not with him anymore then? You're on your own at the moment, or have you got someone?
No, I'm 2 months single. But the break, I lived with my partner for 2 years, and we were dating for 5 years altogether. But it was such a peaceful and a loving and a healthy breakup. I still consider it a miracle after all those years, when breakup was my huge and my biggest enemy and the reason to die. The breakup with my ex partner was so peaceful and gentle that I'm still still grateful
I was going to say, yeah,
today.
it's kind of gave you a new outlook on relationships as well. So that might have done you the world of good as well, that it was such a peaceful way of doing things. It doesn't all have to be, anarchy, throwing things and fuck you, get it. Kind of thing. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be like, look, and being so peaceful as well. You never know what the future holds. The stars might align again. You know, not burnt no
Yeah.
bridges, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Um, so what sort of age was you when you decided that there was an issue? What sort of age was you? when you started to realise? I know you said about your sister going into hospital.
Um, yeah, so I think when my sister started to go to hospital, she was like 18 or 19, and I was 12. So I noticed that something was going on. And also, sister of my dad is bipolar. So I was growing up with this side note, like, okay, maybe this can happen to me too,
Hmm.
but it I didn't feel like this was my the fear and the feeling of failure was so strong that I didn't even consider myself being bipolar or depressed or anxious. I just felt like I am in deep shit and I need to get out. So
Yeah.
I think I was 19. But then I managed to get over the worst part. And what helped me the most was doing regular things, like have some order in my life, waking up in the same at the same time, going to sleep at the same time, eating healthy as much as possible, going to work for the same amount of hours. And it really helped me to get through the worst part of it. Also, a lot of therapies. And then I fell in love when I was 20, 20 or 21. And I fell in love with married guy. And it was a really interesting story because I thought he was my destiny and that we will be together forever. And it felt so real, and he kept saying like, yeah, I will divorce next year and so on. And it was actually the second wave when I really got into therapy, because I was like, when I feel so strongly about this guy, when I feel so strongly that we are soulmates, that we are supposed to be together, yet the reality keeps showing me that he's not going to divorce, and nothing's going to change, and I keep suffering. What is going on? So I went to therapy again,
Yeah.
and I discovered all those beliefs about myself and about my father, like this, all those convictions, like he's not here and he left. And my nervous system was actually wounded with daddy issues, if I can say this way. So I was attracted to emotionally unavailable men. um, and I needed to heal myself again.
That's so weird, because I was going to say the exact thing that you've just said there. I'd already summoned up what you was on about with the man, the married man. So that's quite powerful. There's so much to unpack. Honestly, you've you've cornered me here,
Yeah,
because
I wish it was shorter story, but my whole life is
no,
about
no,
healing.
it's the reason why it's caught me off guard is because a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, like you're feeling like you're failing, you're feeling like this, it's me. It's got to be something to do with the way that we were brought up. Must be from watching what we saw. Because even at work, every day, I'm always questioning. I'm always telling people, "Am I doing okay? Am I doing okay? Am I doing?" Even this podcast, I'm like asking, "Am I doing okay? Is this the good thing to do or not?" So I'm always looking for that gratification. I'm always thinking, "I'm rubbish. I'm going to fail at everything. That's it. I'm crap. I don't want to do anything anymore." And for you to be saying it, for me, it's a breath of fresh air, because it's like, well, I am normal, because there's other people out there that are just like me, and we will get through this, and we will be fine. All we've got to do is just talk about it and keep our chins up, so to speak. But so what? This married man, right? Because we see a
What
lot
about
of
it?
stories. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of movies out there about married men and stuff like this. And when they've got with someone, and they always, like I always picture like Hugh Grant. I will leave my wife and get with you, and it never happens. They're just
Mhm.
literally using and abusing the young female kind of thing, because she's doting. So how did it?
What
What?
was the movie?
Well, no, I'm just thinking like off my head. I could literally write a movie
Yeah,
to it. Just sounds like a movie. The whole thing sounds like a
yeah,
movie where it could even be like The Holiday with
yeah,
I forget what's Jude Law and Jack
yeah.
Black. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's my favorite movie of all
yeah,
time.
yeah, great movie. So did his wife ever find out? Did you ever tell his wife in revenge, like just by I've been sleeping with your husband?
I mean, yeah, he was working in different city, and he had this. It was actually such a romantic story. Actually, you guys,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
don't listen to this podcast. You will get terrible ideas of what love is and is not.
Yeah, just a disclaimer, that is not love.
This is not the way it's supposed to be, kids.
No. No, it's we'll call it a passionate moment of madness.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not judging you, by the way. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just oh, it's the story like straight like, oh yeah, by the way. Yeah.
But
And
I
then your
think,
heart gets broken again, kind of thing, by this sleazebag. Poor woman.
mm,
Put your heart on the line, and then that. Oh,
yeah, I mean, um, it is not a story I would recommend people to go through.
the
It's, it's
thing
just
is, though, so many people do it.
yes, and
Yeah, there's a lot of women that are hurt by that. There's a lot of men out there that give false promises to women. You know.
exactly, and also not from just, and also it's the other way around. And you get so many Facebook ads from like psychics and emotional coaches and so on who will say, "I will help you bring your ex back," or "I will help you bring your soulmate back," or "You are actually in a twin flame relationship, so if it doesn't work out for you, it means that there is some not aligned star up there, and I will help you with some crazy
Yeah,
spell or something." And it's so toxic when I
I, it's very toxic. People like that, especially when you're a vulnerable person and you're in a vulnerable position, and someone messages stuff like that, you jump at it, and next minute, you know, your bank account's being wiped out.
exactly, and you don't even don't even get your ex back. So at the first moment you can be like, okay, I don't have any money for mortgage now, but at least I will get my ex back, and you don't, which is the worst part of it.
What you got to keep telling yourself is, as well, they're an ex for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I
um
mean? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah, you're basic first time round. I can't be asked for reruns.
exactly.
Especially when there's so much availability out there. You know, you might as well dip
Yeah.
your toes or whatever, and until you find that right one, the one that's right for you, kind of thing. So, but yeah. So let's move
Yeah.
on from that absolute tragedy.
I mean, I was 20, and I started my own band, and he was a drummer, I was a singer. He was working in a different city. So I fell in love on the first sight. It was like, it was very romantic. And I didn't tell him for 6 months. I was going on all those rehearsals and shows, and my head was and
Yeah.
uh, and I had so many things to admire on him. And then it just started. He was, I think, 16 years older than me. So we are really talking about daddy issues here, kids. Just don't go there. And and the
Just
worst
looking for
part,
a strong role model, really. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, and he
I
was
get it.
also,
I do get it. I get it. Totally get it. It makes sense. And just by looking at you, so the kind of band that you was in, am I thinking something about, was it 10 Things I Hate About You? Heath Ledger.
yeah,
Right at the end of the film, they've got I forget what the song's called now. I've got it on my phone as well. The rock band. Well, you in a rock band, basically.
yes, something like this, yes.
Woohoo! Yeah, so I like pop punk. I think it's called.
Uh-huh.
The genre is pop punk. A bit like Teenage Dirtbag, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
my favourite band at the minute is 1975. If you've ever heard of them, check them out.
yeah. They had this cool song. I think, how is it called? No, and but they are singing on a like, parking lot, and
Yeah,
he has this crazy costume on him, and
yeah,
it's
it's
great song.
great. So you did the band. So
Yeah,
what would you get up to in that? What sort of era would you call that? Was that for
like,
you? Like, yeah. So you've gone through what's gone up, what's happened as you're a baby. You're then
yeah.
growing up. You're then at 12 years old, and you're realizing you got these things. What sort? Like, where was your mind at when you was in this band? What kind of?
Hmm.
Did you know who you was then? Or was you still like, you know what? I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to make lots of noise and scream and shout, get tattoos and that kind
Uh,
of thing. So, or was it just a really fun time in your life?
uh,
Because you said about university, so I didn't know if that was around the same sort of time.
yeah, I think it was actually it started to be happier moment of my life when got to the university, and I was really happy there. Like the university and people there, it was also lovely, and I was so grateful that I got there for the second time. That I was so eager to learn, and it was amazing. And I started my own band, which was also amazing. And the band wasn't very successful, but at least I was living something like my dream.
Yeah.
And um, and yeah, it was cool, but I didn't understand why I was so unhappy with in this relationship. I mean, I was desperately in love, and it was amazing. Like my head was somewhere in the stars, but also I was suffering a lot. If I saw some crazy Facebook ad selling me some spell for $20, I would buy it. So
Spell? What's going on?
the guys don't do it. Just don't. It doesn't work.
I used to, moving back to the time when me and my cousin were kids, we used to get water with rose petals and put the rose petals in the water and sell it to the girls as perfume. A
Yeah, and
spell.
it did work.
Well, we sold the perfume, yeah. We
Yeah,
made some money,
amazing.
so it worked. Although it just smelled like water.
So your
But
first successful business? No, no,
yeah, but with this face, all the girls would just come on, come on. We like chocolate.
good for
Oh,
you.
amazing! It's amazing that you can laugh. I love that. So
Oh,
you've got that great sense of humour. It's hard for me to laugh with some guests. So sometimes I don't. With mental health, they think everything's got to be all down and dreary. Whereas me, I have ups, really highs, and then really lows. But
yeah,
9 times out of 10, I try to make comedy out of bad situations. If you know what I mean, like I've got nicknames for people, they've got nicknames for me.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I just like to make fun. So I like to see that you yourself are having fun. Um, what was it at university you went to study then? What was it you went to go and study?
Yeah, it was called Management of Arts. It was on the University of Economics. It was such a cool subject. I think it was for all the people who didn't manage to get to a music school, to actual music school, because I wanted to go to music school. I wanted to be a professional singer and songwriter. So my original plan was to go there, but I didn't get there, and I tried for 3 times. So I decided to go to University of Economics because it was the reasonable choice.
Hmm.
But I loved it. Like people were great, and it was in the international environment, and I had to study really, really hard. And when I was in this unhappy love, I went through a lot of therapies because I thought that once I really clear myself and I will change my reality from within, the guy will get divorced and we will be together,
Yeah.
which didn't happen. But I healed a lot, healed a lot of issues on that. Um, and my dream was still to become professional singer songwriter. So when I finished university, I went to United States for 6 months. I was washing dogs in a dog grooming salon, and then I found out that I will not become international music star. So I came back and I got a job in IT. But
Wow. Okay.
I think it was the finally those 6 months in United States really like helped me to grow to the point when I came back and I was really happy in my body, in my country, and in just by myself. Because up until that moment, I was still thinking that something amazing, incredible will happen in the future out there in different world, and it will save me. It will take me out of my body and out of my misery. But then I think it was that time when I realized nothing of it is going to happen, and I need to be really happy on my own and the way I am. And yes, that was the time.
Okay.
I was 26.
Quick question for you. When you went to the States and you had this dream in mind, what was your mindset? Be truthful. What was your actual mindset? Because you're telling me a lot of stuff like you feel like you're going to be failing a lot. So what was your mindset when you went out there?
Well, it was my big dream. I had this big dream that once I get into United States, everything will be easy, and I will somehow become famous. I don't know. It was 10 years ago.
So did you believe in it? No, no. The reason why I ask,
Yeah.
I was in America. I did music. I did singing and rapping,
Yeah.
and I did gigs. But I was in a very negative mindset.
I see.
I went to studios. I've been on radio.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering, what mindset did you have? Was you still having that mindset of, I'm not going to make it? Even though you're telling me that you've believed it. Because you said something at the end there, that dream's never going to happen.
Mm.
Right, you're only 5 years younger than me. You're still a young person. Why can't you make it? Eminem was in his 30s when he became who he is.
Yeah.
So why does
I
that dream have to stop? Is what I'm trying to get at, basically. Because what I'm getting at is, looking at you today and now and the way that you are coming across, I think you're right in the moment to actually record some stuff. With all of that stuff that you've gone through as well, and there could be some real passion in that. And you'd be coming at it from a totally different angle, from that 26-year-old mind that had the love of your life, that's gone through all the therapy, that you got screwed over by the married man. You can now write songs about that. And a lot of women will relate to everything that you're singing about with those stories. Don't give up on your dream.
Yeah, I think there is still a possibility of becoming international rock star. You never know. Sia was 38 when she became famous with Chandelier, but um,
You say
I
you're a writer. You could also
yeah,
sell your songs. You
I
can write songs for people. Look at The Weeknd. He wrote loads of songs for Beyonce. Before The Weeknd was even out, he wrote Drake's first album, majority of it.
hmm. Well, my dream changed a little bit, but I can still be international. I don't know about rockstar, but I am.
Never
I am.
say never. That's all I'm saying. Never say never. Don't ever give up on your dreams, because that's who you are. That's the little girl inside. That's the little girl's dreams. And I don't think
Yeah,
you should ever stop that. Whether you make it or not, I think you should at least still write. I still write every day. I gave up my dreams the minute I had kids. I thought, that's it, I'm done. Oh, I can't be unemployed. I've got to put food on the table for these little babies, you know. But I'm always singing in the car and in the truck.
it's amazing. So you drive cars for
Trucks, big
what?
trucks. Yeah, the big, massive 44-ton trucks delivering food all around the
Hmm.
country.
But you are quite slim for being a truck driver.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honestly.
Don't know if this wasn't inappropriate. Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully no one's offended by that.
But you are from London, right? So you don't get.
No, East Midlands. I'm in the Midlands. My family are from London. I've got
Okay.
family
Okay.
in London, Jamaica, and America. And
Oh,
my
cool.
mother's Irish, so yeah, I'm a right
Yeah.
Jamaican and Irish lad, yeah.
So
A
I think
mixture.
I think people from Great Britain are more likely to understand Czech sense of humor because we are very satiric. We sometimes can come across as offensive, but it's never that way. We are more like making fun out of ourselves. Um,
Yeah,
so
I love that. I mean, at first I was thinking, because, bit of a disclaimer, before I come on, I was actually watching World War II on Netflix. At the moment, there's a big documentary out, and I kept thinking, I might be scared of Veronika. She might come across like Dolph Lundgren's wife in Rocky. Yeah, she's gonna beat me up, kind of thing. And I know it's
yeah.
stereotyping. I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not that person. I don't judge people like that. But yeah, a little piece of me was like, she's gonna tell me, oh, she's gonna, you know. I'm not even going to do the accent right, even though I can do the accents. I'm really good at accents, but I'm
Well, you
not
can
going to do.
try.
I'm from Russia. That's good, isn't it?
It's not Czech accent, but thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
that's the
the.
point. Where is Czech Republic? Is it?
It's
Whereabouts
in
is it?
Central Europe, and we actually, we were invited, not invented. Russia came here and stayed here for 30 years, so we don't like them.
Oh, right. Okay, they're lodgers. They're just lodging. But yeah, so
Um,
So yeah, that was that. But no, I do. I really get your sense of humour. I
yeah.
like it like that. It's it for me. That's how I like to be with people. I like to don't be so serious. Sometimes you've got to be able to take like I keep saying this thing on here. Nobody can be offended. Like I can't give offence. I can't offend you. You can't offend me. And people are like, "Well, people offend me," and it's like, no, you're only offended because you heard a little bit of truth come out, and that truth hurt you. Because sometimes lies are easier to hear than the truth because truth will hurt you because you know it's true. So that's a whole other thing.
Well, so in the short answer to the question is that my mindset when I was going to United States
Yeah.
was, my mindset was I just need to get out of here because I didn't feel good in my country back then. I thought it was about the country. It was about me, obviously,
Yeah.
but I just thought that going to United States will help me improve my life. Um, I thought that I will meet there some special person or special recording label or something, and I really did meet a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing dogs because I was in a grooming salon, and people there were really supportive. But I got to the place when I realized that as well as there and here I would need contacts and money and a little bit of luck to really make it. Here I needed much less money to make it. So I went back here and I started my band again, and I got successful, but then I changed my trajectory in the end. Yeah.
Whereabouts in America did you go? Whereabouts was it?
It was Providence, close to Rhode Island, 4 hours away from New York. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Did you ever go down to California?
no, but I want to go there sometime.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be good. You could just be on the streets. I mean, even over here in London, you can always play your music. We got Nirvana UK at the moment. They're doing a little bit of a tour with a new rock band called Collider. I went to see them the other week. They're amazing.
Okay.
Check them out. See what you like. See if you like them. So right. So you've done that. You now got your head into IT. You're back home and you're doing this IT job. Again, I love IT. By the way, I did it. I did IT at college. I love IT. Not very good at it anymore. I couldn't, I'm going way back, building IDE drives and SCSI cards and building websites using HTML. I don't
Okay.
know any. I'm not very good at this coding. Also, I'll be able to market this a little bit better. And I'm not very good with the internet thing. Um, but no, so you've got into IT,
Yeah,
and what happens there? What kind of thing are you doing? It. She's got to get a lot.
because yeah, I was arts manager, and they needed somebody to manage UX team. I couldn't code. I didn't understand IT at all, but they needed somebody who could manage creative people and their projects. And because I had band and I had experience in managing festivals, music festivals,
Yeah.
they gave me the job. Also, last week on in Rhode Island, I had mushrooms, magic mushrooms, for the first and the last time in my life.
Mate, honestly, right? Listen, listeners, right? I don't know the background of this story, right? And this is the reason why, because I like to get just as amazed as you guys. Veronika, you've been on mushrooms.
Yeah, and again, if you are a sensitive person, don't do it.
Go on, right. Listen, right. You've got to give me a rundown of this because I've only ever heard of Joe Rogan and Eminem speak about this kind of thing. So, what's your take on it? What happens? Like, give me the realist expression that you can give me. Like, you see, what happens?
Well, and after 6 months in United States, I was really confused what was actually my head about because I was like, okay, my big dream was to go to United States, and suddenly I'm realizing that the dream is just dissolving, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I loved married guy. I didn't get him because it was illusion. It was my wounded self wanting wanting him, Then I got to United States, and I felt again, oh my God, it was an illusion, and my dream is falling apart. What is going on? And I got to a Saturday Night Live. Like, friend of mine got me there. It was amazing evening, and he was like, "I have a great idea." I
Famous words. Famous words.
exactly what to do when you are last week in United States, and you go through process of losing your illusions, and everything is falling apart. The best idea is to get magic mushrooms. So I didn't. I was so naive. I didn't check what mushrooms are actually doing to human body and psyche. And he was like, "Okay, so your weight is that much kilos, so maybe take 4, and that will be fine." My friend is taking 4 mushrooms every day, and she's enjoying it, and I am like, "Okay, let's do it." And I took 2, and nothing was happening. So I was like, "Okay, this is not doing anything." So I took it all, and then it started, and it was like so bad. It felt in short, it felt like all your thoughts and motivations, and your memories, everything just went on one screen as a window, as a windows. Like when I don't know
Yep.
if that's Mac or
Yeah, like PC Windows. Yeah.
PC
You got them all
Windows.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. And the linear time just fell apart. I didn't feel there was any time happening in the world. I felt like, okay, um when you see pictures, or when you are thinking thoughts, you are dialed in, but at that moment I felt like my mind went a little bit behind that, and I could see my thoughts and memories and motivations being there as a recording or as a software. I could see it from up there, and it wasn't happy feeling. It felt like I've been lied to my whole life, and my like I am I am embodying this human machine, which is doing something. Like it has its impulses. It's working because it's programmed to work, but nothing of it is actually real. It felt like when you are playing a game on your computer, and suddenly your person is stuck in the middle of some broken environment, and
Yeah.
you can
Glitching out.
yeah, glitching, and you can
Or
see
like
through
when
the
you dream of
illusion.
a fight and you can't fight in your dream, your hands don't work. You're like, yeah, that's mad. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I never would have put you down. Right, listeners, don't do drugs, okay? Don't do drugs. Well, saying
exactly.
that, mushrooms are just mushrooms. Oh, you can eat them on your dinners, can't you? Mushrooms, I suppose. But just not the soul plane types that Redman and Snoop Dogg and Veronika takes. The magic type.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can do wrong pick in your forest when you go mushroom picking. You can experience it as well, but oh,
Yeah, they do
yeah.
another thing as well, don't they? What is it? Licking toads. You can lick the toads. Yeah, there's like a toad. You lick its back, and it gives you an hallucinogenic.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I've never done. I've never touched drugs. I started smoking at 23. That was about it. But then I
Mm.
quit that 2 years ago to start vaping just to get me off it.
Yeah, it's
But
awesome. And
yeah,
I never drank alcohol. I never did smoke or something. It was just mushrooms once in my life, and that was it. I was like, okay, I had one real drug almost. And
you're living in the moment. You know,
yeah,
you're on a show, Saturday Night Live. Was it James Corden on there at the time when you went? Or
it was James Cena, John Cena.
oh, right,
Um,
okay,
like this big guy. He was playing a lot of characters, and I was amazed how perfectly well organized the show was. But the important thing after mushrooms was that my reality sense of reality really got distorted. So when they invited me to to interview to IT, which I didn't have any experience for, I was like, whatever, nothing is real in this life, so I might as well win this interview, and I did. I still do not recommend taking mushrooms before going to interview, but I feel it really helped me to feel like less stressed for
yeah,
some reason. But for first week after taking mushrooms, I really was fighting a lot of demons. So I do not recommend. Um And yeah, so I was in IT, and my team grew up from 19 people to 60 over 5 years. But it was, I think, the best job I ever had. It was the company was great. It's now completely different company, so they were bought by some other company. It was software company, so they were
Yeah.
very rich. When I was there, we were allowed to take dogs, and we had canteen, and it was amazing. Like it was like going to paradise every day. So I felt that this was my award from universe from going through all the shit
Yeah.
before.
No. Yeah. No. No. Totally get that.
Yeah.
So what happened then? So the company's gone. You've had
Company.
your mushroom days. So you've had the parents. You've had the married man. You've had the
Yeah.
magic mushrooms on a show that you say looks very organised, but being on mushrooms may have been the most disorganised thing in the world, and Barney the purple dinosaur might have been walking on, waving at you.
I, I don't know if I was actually at the show or somewhere else.
Yeah, you find out later on, your mate's like, mate, I don't know what you're doing, but you was behind that alley with your shirt up going, yeah, we had to quickly grab you and get you in. Please come. Um, and then obviously you've got your job, so you've done your arts, you've done your bands. So where does it go after that? Straight after the IT, you've had your good stuff. You dog grooming as well.
Exactly. I So then COVID happened, and lockdowns happened, and suddenly it was, I don't know, it was the year maybe 2019, and everything was closed. Like the shows were closed, festivals were closed, everybody went into bankruptcy. My company closed the offices, and I found myself in my little flat with my little dog. um, I kept asking, okay, what is the meaning of my life? What am I doing here? Because all those outside it's distractions just weren't there.
Yeah,
Um, so this is where I started feeling that I should connect people with their soul. And after all those healing modalities I went through and all those experiences, I was like, okay, universe, thank you very much, but I'm not buying that. I,
yeah.
I am not leaving IT for some stupid dream again. Thank you very much.
Leave the
Well,
mushrooms over there today.
need some relapse or some flashback.
Well, I'm just thinking when you're saying getting people to soul search, does it involve a bag of mushrooms? Take one of them.
And I'm happy that I didn't do the frog, because I saw people who did the frog, and the consequences are
Never
actually
know, it might
worse.
turn into Prince Charming.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
never know. It's
you never know.
like with the magic spells on Facebook, so
Exactly.
it needs to work.
Yeah, you've got an inbox. What is it? Would you like to win a new man? Oh, hello. 1 second, Veronica. I've just got to pay loads of money. What?
Here is the frog. Please
It's a
take
frog.
it.
Yeah, got all purple prickles all over his back, like the Gruffalo.
It
Right,
would
we're
be
going
like,
off. We're going off track. So, right.
yeah. So
Sorry, I find you so funny. It's amazing to see somebody who's comical. I love it. I love it.
because I saw some really amazing comics. It will be the last turn in our talk, but comics. When two guys read a book on that, when you lick the frog,
Yeah.
you should use really firm swirls with your tongue, and they're like, oh my god, it's disgusting. Who the hell wrote it? And on the other picture there is a frog like writing it. Like, yes, exactly. This is what you should do. Amazing comics. I think it should be promotion material for today's podcast episode.
Yeah, I love comics. We've just been to see Ricky Gervais. Actually, we've just literally just seen him at the O2 at Wembley, OVO Arena.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
love comedy. We do. We just love it, and you bring that enlightenment as well. So it's what I do. Like I say, you've gone through misery or whatever. You can have a laugh or cry. And it's better to
So
try and laugh,
yeah, yeah.
if you know what I mean. So
Thank you. So yeah, I started, receiving all those messages, intuitive messages like, hey Veronica, you should connect people with their soul. And at first I didn't pay attention because, like, whatever. But then it kept coming back, and it didn't feel like crazy feeling. It felt actually very peaceful and gentle, and it felt more like guidance. It felt more like meditation or something. And
Yep.
I had many friends from healing modalities who were willing to try with me what I had to offer. So I sit down with few of them, and I was like, okay, God, if there is something I should do now, just let me know. And nothing happened. So for several, I think for 3 or 4 sessions, nothing really happened. I didn't see or hear anything. I was just sitting there with my favorite people, and I was asking myself, what am I doing here? But after that, something started to change, and I started receiving pictures and few images now and then, or a few words now and then. And it felt always really peaceful and calm and joyful and expanding for my heart. And at first time I was like, okay, I can see pink clouds. What do you think about that? And my friend was like, yeah, I was there, I think 2 weeks ago. I was there on some trip with my friends, and I could see pink clouds, and it was such a happy moment. So this is how I found out that if I listen to this beautiful, loving, peaceful energy, I can receive more and more guidance. Um, I started practicing. I did lot of sessions for free. Just getting a lot of my friends trying to tune into this loving feeling. And I always asked for the highest truth and highest love for this person. And I started receiving messages about past lives and family lines and everything. And I think that because I went through so much depression and suffering, and I had to go through my system so many times in my life, it was really easy for me to receive all those things about other people. I could really tune into what was going on in their field. And yeah, after that, I made it my business. I was like, whatever, okay. It's still let me. And I think it took me 2 to 3 years to actually make it a living. At first, I didn't think it would be my living one day, but more and more people were interested, and I recorded some online courses. My first online courses failed, nobody bought them. I lost lots of money, all my savings, all the money
Um,
I had saved on my mortgage, I lost on my first marketing campaign, which wasn't successful. But after all that, I was so used to not being successful for the first time that I was like, I will just do it second time. I don't mind. And I did. And the second online course was successful enough that I could leave my IT job, and I started to be full-time soul reader, which is now happening for a year and a half. This is actually what brought me here today.
such an amazing story, right from start to finish. It's absolutely beautiful story, and to end it like that as well, with you being now teaching other people as well to soul read and to get. So, say if I was to ask you, how do I learn how to soul read? Any listener out there, what would we do? How would we do it? How would we connect with that soul read? Because that sounds like it could be something that could help all of us, not just
Yeah.
people with depression and anxieties or PTSD. I think it can help everyday
Yeah.
people. People who just live in normal days. You have a couple of bad days, and I just think it's quite a powerful thing. From what you've said, and the person that you are, the character is what sells it for me because you've got such a warm heart, if you know what I mean, and loving soul. So
Thank you. So I think it depends on how you perceive the world, because I don't believe there is one universal rule or one universal truth which would be helpful for everyone, because each of us has unique point of view and unique experience. And some of you might resonate more with the concept of the soul and loving truthful energy within your heart, which is really beautiful. And usually people who are more tuned to their feelings can resonate with this idea that there is energy of highest truth and highest love in your heart, and when you tune to it, you can be guided by it. How you recognize the voice of your soul from the voice of your head is that it always gives you loving messages. It can be tough love, like you should leave the abusive relationship, for example. But
Mm.
it's always loving, and it makes you feel more empowered, more liberated, more yourself than before, even though it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
um, and some of you might resonate more with the idea that soul is the experiencing part of our brain. Our brain has many functions, as we learned today, but
Yeah.
one of them is this categorizing thinking part, which is our ego, our software, which runs everything. But the other part is experiencing. And this experiencing part, this creative part, has no words. It cannot be perceived with words. You cannot really tune there with words. You can describe, like, I feel God, I feel soul, I feel happy, or I feel sad, but you cannot really go there with the thinking mind to the experiencing mind to do something. So there is actually amazing book which is called No Self, No Problem, and it's talking about experiments where people had damaged brain, or they were after surgery or something, and for some little time, those two parts of their brain lost connection, and they experienced complete bliss and happiness, because their software, which would normally tell them you suck, you are a failure, you are the worst thing which happened in this life,
Yeah.
it couldn't reach the controlling mode. So they were just in
Blessing in
this.
disguise.
Exactly. So for a short moment, short period, they were experiencing bliss. And I found out that this is not just me, but also some experts out there found out that this is exactly what majority of meditations and Zen Buddhist meditations try to do. They want to consciously switch off this connection between your judging mind and your experiencing mind, so you feel the bliss without judgment. um, so you can actually tune into this state of connection with your soul or with yourself or your intuition or however you call it, just by focusing on calm part of you, if you might say. You find
Yeah.
calm piece of you anywhere in your body, and you focus on it, and you just try to let go of everything else which is going there, and the calm will eventually increase, and eventually you can become it and you can be guided by it.
Yeah, that's what I'm working towards. So I started meditating to try and clear because I've got a very noisy head. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, truth be told, I don't like people very much. Um, it's weird because I get on with everybody that I meet, but people in general are just like, how do I put it? Like I was saying earlier, when they're driving around in the cars or they're in a shopping mall, they've got to be first in line. They've got to be first. I've got to have that last. It's that really, it just, for me, it's just narcissism and I don't like it. It's like, do you not care for anybody else around you? But when I speak to people like you or people in the street, I have a really good chat. But in general, yeah, I find it very difficult with some people. I find it's like, sometimes I wish I was the only bloke on the world. Just send me to Mars.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to create in my own head by the calm. So I can just be at peace without having to worry about things. You know, I mean, we've got this problem at the moment where all the street lights are really dim.
Hmm.
And at night time, every single person goes out of their way to go for a walk in all black.
In the middle of
The
a
night.
street.
I
So.
nearly knocked two people over on bikes, cycles,
Mhm,
driving down the road.
mhm.
Two lads pulled straight out on the bicycles. No lights, no high vis, just all black, black mask. And I nearly hit them. So I stopped and bibbed to say, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then just look at you like, yeah, like you're in the. I was like, "The fuck are you looking at, mate? What are you doing?" So it's stuff like that. It just grinds like, and it angers me. And I've just had CBT for all of that because I just couldn't control my stress. It's so bad. Um,
Mhm.
but all I can do is practice every day.
Yeah.
Practice as much as I can. And I've started to blow kisses to people if they upset me. Seriously, yeah.
Deepest
Yeah,
act of aggression.
yeah. Well, I had it the other day where some lady decided to give me the old toss sign out the
Yeah.
window, like, "Love you."
Oh, she must have
And
been
all
so
it
happy.
well, yeah, well, I'm on the motorway,
Yeah.
and she was coming down to join on the slip lane, but on the slip lane, there's white lines, which means give way because I'm already on the motorway. And
Mhm.
because I couldn't move over because I'm in a truck and I had vehicles on the other side, I had to stay in that lane. So she had to stop. And because she had to stop, she then got behind me on the motorway, side of me, looked up at the window, wanker. I was, what? There's a give way sign. You're supposed to stop. Why am I the wanker? You're the wanker. You know, I just blew a kiss instead of saying it to her because I just thought, honestly, I ain't got the energy for your brain. If your brain doesn't work, then there's clearly an issue with yourself, not with me. The problem's with you. You know, go home and have a word. 'Cause I'm just doing my job. I'm abiding by the laws. And it's stuff
Mm.
like that, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that soulfulness, I think that's what I need to do. I need to learn. Like I said, I've meditated quite a while now. You know, I started in about April. When I started this podcast, about April.
Mm.
Um,
Cool.
being honest with myself, do I meditate every day? No. I wish I did, but sometimes you almost feel like you don't need to. Oh, I feel good today,
Yeah.
and it's that. And I think you should still practice every day. I think I should still practice every day. I mean, with you, do you do soulfulness every day, or
Um, I do actually, but it's because I think after the breakup, it's easier to get lost in sad feelings. Even if the breakup was peaceful, and the just your nervous system is trained to feel
well,
bad.
yeah,
so so I meditate every day, but also there are a lot of layers. Even if you try to heal many times and many things in your life, you can every time you experience something new or stressful or some new situation, it can happen that is some of other odd stuff can come up. um, and I believe I am really really calm and peaceful majority of the day unless I'm driving to the city center. Then I become really choleric person. And
I think we all do, don't we? We all get that little bit of side of us, But you are such a calm person. It's lovely to see. Um, do you still see mum and dad? They're still a part of you and your sister and stuff like that. You still got that strong connection around family. I'm just thinking because of your breakup that you just had, have you got that support around you just to be there for you while you heal?
yeah, yeah, and luckily I think that the soul reading journey actually improved the relationship with both of my parents and my grandparents and everybody, because I really had to open my heart to all this kind of information about people, and it really made me much more loving and much more empathetic person. So right now, when I see my mom, it's just bliss. Even if we talk about hard stuff and our patterns, we know that we share some patterns in our family line, and now we laugh about it, which is blessing because we
Yeah,
grew up in all this drama and stuff. So now it's much much better, and I see them quite often. During Christmas, it will be again. So in that area, I'm really really blessed. And actually, there, I think what is interesting now during this Christmas, I really had chance to encounter my dark mind again, because I really don't have anything to be sad about or be mad about. There is no real problem which I could blame apart from the breakup, which was peaceful. But
yeah,
I have enough money, I have roof over my head, I have my little dog. But I think part of my brain just feels so confused, like what the fuck just happened. I thought that I healed so much stuff and I did all this kind of things. Why I had to go through breakup.
yeah,
And it's not the same part of the brain which feels like this was the healthiest way we both could do it. We weren't happy anymore. We are much, much happier now as when we are separated. but those two brains sometimes do not cooperate. So when I wake up and I am in my dark room in the morning, my first thought could be, this is such a shitty day and I feel so sad, or I feel so bad, and I am entrepreneur and I need to motivate myself somehow to get out of bed and do stuff and earn money or something.
Yeah.
um and this second part is like, Veronika, you should meditate, or you should go take your dog for a walk, or you should get a cold shower as a Wim Hof, and something. So I have to consciously reparent myself, because this depressed part of you can still be there somewhere. It can be really little and it can be dormant for a long period of time, but
Yeah.
when you get stressed and overwhelmed with something new, it can again strike and try if there is still place for her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is. It's lurking. It's still in the back, isn't it? It's still just creeping, just ready to peer out and say, right, with its ugly head. Because mine was locked in till 2017. I was honestly, I'm starting to get that back. I'm starting to be me again. A lot of people used to say, oh, you're the party, you're the life of the party, Jermaine. You're so fun, you're so crazy and wappy and whatever. But then I started to go like grunting at people. Like some people would say to me, I don't know whether I can approach you today, Jermaine, or not. You're looking a bit pissed off, kind of thing. I'm just like, mate, I ain't got time for you. Move, kind of thing. I went for a really nasty sort of stage where I just couldn't be asked because I don't know. But I'm out of that now, so I'm starting to feel happy again. Starting to be saying yes more, being a bit more open, But yeah, when that depression kicks in, it happens. It can happen any day of the week, but you're just like, I'll put some music on. That's my little thing. I like music. I like to listen to good music, but yeah, especially with loss of a loved one, like a partner, when that breaks up, it's hard. I've had my first love. I had a breakup. Yeah, it hurt massively. My pillow was wet through from tears.
yeah.
It cut deep. The first cut's the deepest. So it is hard because we're human beings and we connect better with somebody with us. But the biggest question on my mind is I wanted to know, is your doggy available to have a look so I can see your dog?
Yeah.
I've got a little doggy. We've got a little spaniel.
Of course. She's always listening. No, right now she's sleeping. She's like a little
Oh,
Yoda.
is it Chihuahua?
It's Chihuahua combination with Labrador and something else from the party in a dog shelter.
Oh, bless.
she's
Ankle biters. Take your feet off. Oh, bless.
she's
Super cool.
yeah, thank you. She's very therapeutic. She's always like this, like calm all day, every day, and just looking sad and waiting for some ham.
I know, they're always looking sad. The minute you open that fridge up, like you have to pay the cheese tax, they're just there like, Dad, cheese, go away. Yeah, our dog's wappy. Our dog, we got a spaniel with big
Oh
floppy
yeah.
ears. Yeah, she's on my last video actually. It come out today. My video. Me and her are doing a mindfulness walk along the canal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I thought I'd get her involved in one of the videos. But I have got some questions to ask. Quick fire round, if you like.
Round. Okay.
Quick fire round.
I will
I
take my.
think so far we've stayed on track, really, with the new sort of format. But it's you've been one of the most memorable people that I've had on here because of how happy you are. So I will
Thank
say it
you.
now, and I will say it again after. If you ever do want to come back on to let me know how you're getting on with your business and stuff, please do
Of course.
come
I
on.
hope I will still have my business after this Christmas.
Well, I hope you do. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're going to get a lot of people that take mushrooms that are going to join you now. They're all going to be there, psychedelics. So you're going to be fine. Plus,
I
you're
will.
open and honest, and that's what people want. There's no, there's a lot of people out there that will lie to your face, and then they expect people to be integral to them. For me, I only give people one chance. I know it's quite bad, but from the life I've had, it's like, mate, you only get one chance for me. If you lie to me, steal from me, cheat on me, whatever, then I don't even know who you are anymore.
But I think it's a little bit different in London and maybe in United States, or the way I saw it here in my country, it takes really long until you really open up to somebody, but
Yeah.
then it's forever. But in United States, everybody was so happy to see me and so cheerful. But once they got mad, it was like, get the fuck out of my house. And I couldn't really operate with it. I didn't know what to do with the cheerfulness, and then I didn't know what to do with them being that mad. So I think it's
So I'm
sometimes,
being put off. Can you hear my dog in the background?
yes, she has a lovely voice.
She's so noisy. I think there's a delivery, but right. Anyway, quick fire questions. What's the one piece of advice you wish you had received when you started your career soul searching?
Just do it.
Right, question number 2. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? Can only be one person as well. I don't want you to have like a room full of these people, just the one.
Like a real person, or
Yeah, real, live or dead. Well, it could be a Disney character, I suppose. But just one person that you would really like to
I
really
think
get to have a chat with.
yeah, I think it would be Buddha. Buddha. He sounded like a cool guy.
Okay. Okay. And what sort of questions would you be asking?
Mm, like, what did if a life of a rich person was really that boring and overwhelming that he really decided to go out of the palace and struggle, or if it's just a fairy tale.
What's a book or movie that has had a significant impact on your life?
I think the book would be Us Kids from the Station Zoo. I don't know how is it called in English. If it's the same name, but it's a book about 13 years old girl who started doing drugs. She couldn't stop, and she kept doing them until she was adult. So I think it had a huge impact on me because I read it when I was 12, and I was like, okay, I'm never doing drugs.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Great book then. Really, for kids, yeah, to stop them from doing stuff, yeah.
yeah.
Number 4 for you, a little fool. Share a failure or setback that ultimately led to a valuable lesson for you. Obviously, we can use the married money if you want, or the mushrooms.
I don't know which one of them would be the significant one. Yes, I guess the married guy was a good example because it wasn't just failure, like you don't get to university. It was the illusion behind it, like my hope that it would be the one, and it was just my wounded self trying to be loved. So that
Yeah,
was the value I got from it.
it's a great lesson to learn as well, isn't it? To carry you through. And now you know.
Hmm.
Um, I love this one, and the reason why I've asked this is because I've got a super. Well, I'll say what it is. I nearly let it out of the bag then, but it's something that I've always thought of since I was a kid. So, if you could choose a superpower, what would it be, and how would you use it to make the world better?
I think it would be like complete awakening. Like the people who say they really recognize the nature of their mind, and they
Yeah,
don't take seriously any of their own thoughts or any of their own emotions, and they still love them. That would be amazing. Like superpower of seeing through each of my emotion and thought and idea, and just feel calm all the time.
it's a bit better than my one. My superpower ain't as good as that.
What is your superpower?
I just want to freeze time. I just want to have a little stopwatch, not just to stop, and then I can quickly go around do my groceries or whatever, and then just play it again. I can
Yeah.
do my job in like a second. I can also do some really, really bad things. A second. I don't know why I've always had this for of going through a mall, pressing stop, and just stripping everybody off naked and pressing start. I look, oh my god, what are you lot doing? And I'm still fully dressed. I just think it'll
That's
be amazing.
interesting idea you have.
Hey,
It's an interesting thing to do when you can stop time.
yeah, like stop time. It'd be just amazing. Like if someone really upsets you, say, right, in the street, they've really upset you, stop time, press time, oh, or kick them in the gonads, bang, just, whoa. I just think it'd be amazing. The thing is, I'll just abuse it. I would literally abuse that superpower. You know what I mean? Like,
Now,
revenge is so sweet with that. Oh, I'd love it. Oh,
or you could eat everything in a cake shop, or you could.
yeah, you could. And it would only take it. Well, obviously, we'll be there for like 4 or 5 hours just. But for them, it's just a blink of an eye. That like that 1 minute all the food's then, blink again, it's all gone. Like, where's that gone? I'm like, oh, just here, bro.
Exactly.
I'm just here.
It was just one.
Wiping my mouth with cream. Yeah, all cream around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Literally feels like that. Everything you eat and it's sweet, it feels like 1 second of your life, and then you gain 20 kilos, 20 pounds in your case.
yes, yeah. Honestly, I mean, I used to be stick thin. I'm like 15 stone now, which is what 192 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm tall,
Yeah, and
I'm
it's a lot
still
of brain. It's heavy thoughts.
a what? A lot of rain. I'm living in Britain. Yeah, it's always bloody raining here. Is that what you mean?
No, it's a lot of brain. Like
Oh,
when you have,
brain.
yeah, heavy thoughts. When you have a lot of heavy thoughts, then you have a lot of pounds.
Oh, my, honestly, I'm the biggest overthinker. Like
Yes.
everybody points it out to me. They even wrote this list of overthinking, and everything is me. And I was like, yeah, I think literally I worry about everything. I need I need to be told that I've done something right.
Mhm.
I'm always the way I can describe me is like a little puppy dog. I need constant love and attention. Because I never had it as a kid from my dad. It's always like that's my thing. I need love to feel like I'm needed. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a little like a little puppy dog basically. That's
Oh.
who I am. Who's Jermaine? Little puppy dog.
But if you surround yourself with dog people, then you are fine.
Is that? Yeah, well, this is it. This is why I got a dog. She's always there, constantly trying to lick your face. But I don't like dogs licking my lips. It's like no, it's
Oh,
too. You lick my hands, kiss my forehead, kind of thing. But no, I like to rub the bellies. That's my favourite thing to do: rub the bellies and go for walks. So
yeah.
anyway,
That was
I
the
think
last
that's
question.
yeah. I told you time flies, didn't I?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought, okay, okay.
Yeah. See, when you asked me, oh, Jermaine, why is this 2 hours? Well, it's already nearly an hour and 40 already. Look, now do you see
Yeah.
how it flies? Even I've looked like, wow, okay. Um. So yeah, is there anything you wanna shout out?
Mm.
Anything you want to promote?
Oh, promote. Um, yes, I'm actually writing light language songs, and it's there are songs in a language we nobody knows, but I it's called light language. It's a like frequency of pure love.
Yeah.
Um, I think I will be releasing next one in January. So I don't want to promote my soul reading sessions because I don't want to work really. I just want to be famous.
It will.
No.
Hey, it can happen. It can happen. Just don't give up on the dream.
Mm,
Just don't give up on the dream. It's as simple as that. As
yeah.
long as you succeed inside your own head, that's all that matters. You know.
And the important thing is that my biggest love about soul reading is that people, when they are connected to their soul, they feel seen and loved. And light language can do this to you in very short period because you don't understand the words, you just hear the music, and you feel like something is happening in your heart, and it's beautiful. And I don't have to do anything. I just can record it and put it on YouTube, and I'm fine. So if your listeners are curious about some interesting music with words they don't understand, then when you put in YouTube light language song Veronika, you will find it, and it's beautiful.
Light language song Veronika, yeah.
Yes.
I think being a songwriter yourself, okay,
Yeah.
and doing soul reading, why don't you get in touch with publishers and write a book? Start writing your own book. Release a book, put it on Amazon. Ready for next Christmas. You don't want to work, but I'm gonna make you work. You want to become somebody, put your talents where they need to be. You're good at writing, you're good at making the music. Audible.
Mhm.
You can literally record your own books. Start your own
Yeah.
podcast. Soul reading podcast.
It's a reading podcast. Yeah, yeah. I would love I love chatting to people. It's just that all my clients are Czech, the audience, and
Doesn't matter.
it would be very very famous. But I would have to create a
But if you do
subtitle.
it in English, you can hit
Yeah,
a wider audience. You could put it
that
in
is true.
French, Spanish, Italian, German. You can do they've got translations built in.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Give it a thought. Honestly, give it a thought because you've got the right talent. You seem very much like me. You're very motivated to be doing something to leave a legacy behind. It seems like you're creative. And
Hmm.
that's like me. I don't stop. I just want to keep doing. And I think you've got a tool set. I really do. I think you've got that skill set. You can write. You can do music. Combine it all together. Create
Hmm.
something that's your own. That's original with your name on it.
Okay. Let's. I will do it. Let's see each other in a year and say how much more famous we are with our purest
Yeah,
creation, like
yeah.
heart creation.
Honestly, go for it. Get it written down, even if you do it in series. Your first one, your first episode could be a what do you call it? For people that want to know about something. My English
Yeah.
is so rubbish at the minute. My head's gone. Introduction. How hard is that?
Yeah, introduction. Yeah.
Introduction into soul reading. That could be your
Yeah.
first one. And if you do it like I forget what they call it now. It's like that thing. You know what people listen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
senses thing, the sensory
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
where you do it really quietly and they can hear your lips and they can hear your pen or your keyboard. People
Yeah.
love that.
Okay.
People love that because it's calming. It's exactly what it says on the tin. I'm telling you to be calm by being calm.
Exactly. Oh, that's true. So you lead with example.
Right, you have literally got your work cut out for you now because I'm going to be watching you and I'm going to make sure that it's doing it. Honestly, right, that's your thing.
Do you think? But maybe it will also motivate you. You know, when you will have to make somebody meditate and then do work, then you will also have to meditate and do the work. So
Oh yeah, I've told people meditate whilst driving. Just don't do that because it's not very good. You might crash because you fell asleep behind the wheel.
that's true. It is true. But it's
Even though
also
I listen.
sometimes you don't notice when somebody pisses you off. You know, when you drive and you are half meditating, then you are like, oh yeah, cut me through. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
But don't do it.
yeah. Don't meditate. Do not drive and meditate.
It's dangerous. It's
It's more dangerous than taking magic mushrooms at Saturday Night Live. Fair play to you, though. Tell you, fair play.
okay.
Right, you've
Thank
got your
you.
own work. You know what you got to do. I know you don't want to work, but it's hard work and talent that will break through, and I think you've got both.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so I want an update in 6 months of where you're at. I literally do want you to email me, get in touch with me in 6 months. I'm not saying
Okay.
that you've got to have it finished by 6 months, but I at least
Mhm.
want to know. I at least want you to say, Jermaine, I've got the name. I've got 3 recorded little 10 minutes of recordings that are ready to go.
I wanted to do this during Christmas break, like 3 English
Well,
videos
enjoy your
about
Christmas.
reading. Uh,
Enjoy your Christmas.
okay.
Have a break.
I,
You've just gone through all of that with your ex-partner. Have a break now. Chill.
I will try.
Yeah. Just sit back. Oh no, you don't drink beer, do you? I was going to say have a couple of porn star martinis or something and just sit there.
Drink water.
Yeah, you could drink water with rose petals on top.
I wouldn't steal your business idea, you know.
To be fair, I think every lad on the estate, even the girls, were making it. I think I'm sure we were. I think it was just to go to. You know what, guys? We can make some money here. Just get a 2 litre bottle of water. Just put rose petals in it, mate, and just stir it. Sell it.
Yes, yeah, and you didn't doubt yourself back then, right? So you
This is the thing. We lose our inner child because we start to worry about what other people think,
Mm.
which is a
Mm.
big problem. Big problem. Don't ever think about what others think. Only stick to people that will pick you up and lift you up and believe in you. The people that don't believe in you or pick you up, they're
Exactly.
nobody, mate. And literally nobody. If they dare, they're only getting angry because they've never done it. They'll just sit there behind the keyboard. Oh, I don't like this. All right, mate, go home, go and play with yourself, go and do something. Go on, piss off.
You, you, you are lucky if they do it on their keyboard on the table. Probably they are doing it while sitting on toilet on their phone, but
And their words stink like them. It's like, woof, go away, off. Spray. Shh.
mm,
Your face offends my mirror. Please piss off. Get out of it.
yeah.
Right. Lovely, lovely, lovely speaking with you.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much.
enjoyed it. Oh, it's been amazing. Honestly, it's been really uplifting. And this comes out New Year's Day, so it's a great start to the year.
Yeah.
We all know what to do. We're all got to go out, date married people, take magic mushrooms, and
And become soul reader.
become a soul reader.
Exactly.
There we go.
The,
Sorted.
That's Wikipedia way how to live your life.
Yes.
This
Yeah. It's
manual.
in 3 steps.
In 3 steps. Yeah. How to utilize your depression in 3 easy steps.
Exactly. And if you can smile like Veronika here, and you made it. That's it.
Exactly. And if you
So
don't make it, just sell water with rose petals.
4 steps. 4 steps.
But you have
Oh,
to look cute while doing it.
that's it. You'll
That's
be a millionaire this time next year. Rosewater. Taking on Dragon's Den. You made it. Right, Veronika.
okay.
I'm going to bid you farewell.
Thank you very much. It was really
Thank
lovely.
you. No, I really do appreciate you coming on. I loved it. How did you find it? You okay with this? Was it good?
Definitely. Just put it all there. We do not cut anything out.
Well, I've got to do some editing.
Okay. Never mind.
Oh. But no, yeah. So just so everybody does know and is aware, so there's going to be a short version of this that will come out on Monday, which will be New Year's Day. So if you listen to this now, hello, it's here today. The Sunday after this comes out will be this full, unedited, uncut version. Okay, just for the guys out there, because there's a lot of guys and girls out there that haven't really got an hour to 2 hours to listen.
Mm-hmm.
My people have, because we all drive for a living, so we just stick it on and we can just drive and listen to the podcast. But for those people that live a fast life, you know, the millionaires off selling rose petals and selling bags of magic mushrooms kind of thing, the 15-20 minute one is there for you guys.
Good for you. Good for you. Thank
Yeah.
you for building our life the way it is now.
And none of us are perfect. No one's perfect. Right, that's it from me. Veronika, you've been absolutely a superstar, amazingly funny, really cheered me up. Obviously, we're recording this just before Christmas, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. Hope you have a very blessed year, and hopefully you'll get your project started. And that's it. So we'll all see you next week. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Thank you very much for tuning in this week, guys. Really do appreciate it. If you want to reach out, you can do on all of the social medias and even the podcast sites, wherever you listen to your podcast. Just search Still Worth the Journey. And remember, you are still worth the journey. See you all next week.